another episode of the Bluegrass Soccer Cast, your home for all things soccer right here in our beautiful Commonwealth. I'm Jimmy, that of course is John. And John, how fun was that game on Saturday night between Lexington and Northern Colorado?
Fun is a debatable word because it was
Debatable? What do you mean?
it was not fun for the first well, it was fun for 4 minutes or
Yeah, the very first 4 minutes, yes.
24 minutes because Diouf scores at the fourth minute and then it gets tied. Then we go into a rain delay, which I did in my
Oh,
write-up,
yeah. I forgot about that.
which I did in my lightning delay. 3 games Lex has gone on a lightning delay. Coming out of it has never been good.
Nope. Nope.
Knight saved us in the first one because we got a stupid red card. Then Tormenta, which that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah,
And
no,
then
we don't
this
need to
one,
talk about that game anymore.
literally a minute after the restart,
Yep.
we get scored on by a header across the box again. I swear there's been so many across the box headers that have it's Knight's weakness. And
Right.
it's hard. A perfect
Is.
cross across the box header is hard for any keeper. It's like
I
the
mean,
perfect goal if you can do it
ask
right.
the guy from FC Dallas or the guy from Inter Miami how hard headers into the box are.
Yeah, they're rough. But then after 65 onward, it was fun and crazy.
Oh yeah. But we'll jump back to that Lexington game and give our full breakdown here in a moment. But John, as always, we're going to start by going off the top. And John, this week only one really kind of big newsworthy event, and that comes to us again from the Athletic. And in an article, according to a source that reported to the Athletic, the USL has decided to delay the vote for implementation or for voting on implementation of a promotion and relegation system until a further date. Now, from my kind of personal perspective here, John, but I think this is a good thing. I really think it's a good thing that they're taking it seriously. They're taking their time. They're making sure that they have everything they need in place before they jump into it. Because anything that would be done halfway would be an absolute failure and would potentially sink the USL.
Yes. This article is much shorter than the original. It was released by the same guy, Ryan B. I forget his last name off the top of my head, but it was the same guy, very short and sweet. The main reason that his sources are telling him is financial. The financials has not been explained to the owners, and the owners here, and this is why I like it being delayed. When I read that, it's not the owners going into that saying, "Oh, we don't have the financials. We're just going to vote this thing down." No, they're going, "How about we delay it? We figure out this financial situation, and then we'll vote," which
Right.
is perfectly fine with me. And that's what I said when it first came out on our show was the financials are what's going to make or break this. If with the ESPN Plus deal, USL is through ESPN Plus. If you're in the Premier League, as we put it, and if you're in USL Premier and you're in USL League One and you're making the same money from ESPN Plus,
Yeah, that
that's
doesn't
not an
work, right?
incentive.
No.
That's why the
If
Premier
anything, it would
League
almost
is.
incentivize you to do worse, right? Because then you're going to have lesser competition. You're going to look stronger. You're going to have better attendance at your games, etc. Like, to me, it incentivizes you for being bad at that point.
You could argue that, yes, and I think that you kind of see that in England a little bit, even though they have ProL, because so much money is in the English game
Yep.
that certain players or people in general, like it kind of exists in America, but that's just because English lower sides are easier to watch in America.
Which
Players
is
would rather
crazy.
go to what Haji Wright just did this. He left the Turkish Super League. Granted, he wasn't on a great team there to play in the championship. And the championship is a top league. By some ELO ratings, it's better than the MLS. but it's not better than the Turkish Super League. The Turkish Super League is like a top 7 or 8 league in Europe.
Right.
And
And when
he
you,
left because of money, because Cardiff City had more money than whatever team he was in. And
that's
that's just
exactly what I was
because,
going to say.
and that's the English thing. Declan Rice got absurd amounts. Jude Bellingham, there's this English tax type thing because there's so much money with an English, anyone related to England. And that in America, that it's starting to get that way, at least with teams and stuff. Like, I don't know, there a report came out today that the MLS are going to try for Mbappe.
Yeah, I saw that. Like that would be absolutely insane. And where would he go?
I could see him doing it. The only reason I could see Mbappe doing it is because he's all about his image. He's all about this.
Correct.
And he knows if he comes to America while Messi's here, sorry to our producer, the Saudis pro reign of like snatching up all these stars is going to go away because they're going to go, America has money just like Saudi Arabia. Now there's income tax.
It's
There's some other.
it's
It's
different,
a
right?
different. We don't have the Saudi money. We can't just give a player 200 million for a year. But what we can do is exposure.
Yes.
Like,
And those extra brand deals, right? Like those are
yeah,
the things that we can do here.
it's much easier to watch games. Games are in English, which people are more used to. Like our producer shared Al Nasser's stream with us yesterday. I clicked away for a bit. I missed the goal. I had to ask him who scored because I can't read Arabic.
Yeah,
They didn't have the logos like some people do. So I
it
was
just
just
had the
like,
names.
it just had the names and they weren't colorized either. It was just a
Nope,
green
they're both
scoreboard. And
green.
I was
Yeah.
just like, ah.
Yeah, I tried to watch a little bit of that, but for whatever reason, I just couldn't get it to load on my phone. So I did see the results, and I saw the highlights and stuff like that in our Discord chat. So I did get to see some of it. But yes, it was a little confusing. But if a player like Mbappe does come to America, right? I hope that he doesn't go to Inter Miami, which whoa, holy crap, that might be
if
like,
he
no, you're a big
if he
fan, but
goes to Inter Miami, that is the biggest conspiracy. Like,
put the
what's the term?
tinfoil hat on for that one,
No,
right?
what's the term? Like the Miami Dolphins got in trouble for it recently. It's like collusion.
Oh, collusion. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
biggest load
with
of collusion.
yeah, their coach. Yeah,
Yeah, because of what just happened with Columbus too. Columbus got
yeah.
denied signing a player for way less than what Miami's
Yep.
spending. It's like a difference of a
Like
million
100 million,
dollars or
wasn't it?
something. Yeah, but like what Columbus is doing, they're like, hey, can we spend $1 million or like $2 million more? And
Yep.
Garber went, no.
Nope. Yeah.
Inter
So
Miami has 4 designated players now, about to be 5 if Iniesta comes over.
it's all right. We'll make the rules up as we go. But no, I really do hope that he comes to one of the New York teams, right? Like to me, NYCFC seems like a really good fit for him. They are about to build a new stadium. Yes, they're playing in the Yankee Stadium for now, which would be atrocious and would probably put him off from even wanting to join the team at that point. But it could be something where that team, maybe the Red Bulls, but the Red Bulls to me are irrelevant because they don't even play in New York. They play in New Jersey. At least NYCFC plays in the city. So that would be probably my number one if he came here. If not there, maybe the Galaxy. They're kind of looking for a star, kind of increase El Trafico between them and LAFC. That could be entertaining.
I
But who knows?
see
Maybe he'll wind up at Columbus
if he does
or
come, I don't see
Nashville.
him going to NYCFC just because they don't have a soccer specific stadium right now. I don't
Yeah.
see Mbappe agreeing to play in a baseball stadium, no matter what city it is.
Yeah.
It depends on who splashes the cash type thing
Yeah.
or like where they would place it. If I'm the league, I'm going to try to do something where you put them in the Western Conference.
Yes.
So he's opposite of Messi, but that it's still speculation. We have no idea what's going on, type
So
thing.
if
And
he
that's
did
even if,
come, who would you put up on that list?
in terms of prestige, just
Just
by like,
who would you want him to play for?
I would want him to play for either the LA teams because they're well supported
Yes.
and it's LA and that's what they'll do. I also see the either Portland or Seattle. Granted, Seattle technically doesn't have a soccer specific stadium, and Portland
Yeah.
has the only soccer specific stadium that they play on turf.
Yep.
But
And that's
they're
a great fan base too.
yeah, that's the main thing. I see Mbappe going to where there's actual fans,
So he's
like already
not going to
pre-established.
Dallas or Houston,
Um,
Charlotte.
yeah, the only reason Messi even went to Miami was because it took him 4 years of David Beckham and all that type of stuff.
But it's also Miami. Like you
Well,
can't
yeah,
cut the city short.
Yeah, Miami's nice, and that's the part where some people are like, "Why did Messi turn all this down?" I was like, y'all understand that Messi's like had a house in Miami for
Right.
years, like
Yes.
years type thing. Like he's lived there, he's trained there for years. Like he was very familiar. I wasn't surprised when he went to Miami.
No.
Like in terms of like why Miami, because not even with the cities, but like I knew he did stuff there.
Well,
So I
if
honestly
you're
don't know.
if you're ever asking yourself why Miami, just go. Trust me, you won't regret it. I've been there a couple times. Love it every single time. Love the culture. Love the people. Some of the politics, yeah, politics, but beautiful city, lots of beaches, lots of things to do. You'll get it.
Um, but overall, with the Pro Rel, it's that they need to solidify money and that type of thing.
Yep.
Um, I would love to like kind of tie all this in. I would love if these bigger stars coming over, like try to convince the MLS of like, hey, this is a way if they to partner with the USL, do what England does. The Premier League is technically separate of the English FA. Premier
Yep.
League has its own league office and stuff that runs the Premier League, and the English FA runs the other. Well,
11 leagues or whatever, right?
the rest of the pyramid, but mainly the English Football League. They run Championship through League Two because the Football League's the top four. So it's not like they have to fully merge. You just USSF. God,
You got it. You nailed
so
it.
hard to say. Can just go USL. You run the lower leagues. MLS. You can run the big leagues. Give a buffer of Pro Rel to like San Diego. Give them like 3 years or something along those lines. Say you don't. Doesn't matter what happens. You won't get affected. Now, I believe there should be rules put in play that too, to how their performance can affect other clubs. It's drop down like type thing. So we'll see, but then let it ride. See what happens.
Yeah, well, by no means is this the end of the conversation of Pro Rel and the USL or anything like that. It's just a temporary pause for now. We'll get back to the vote when we have a little more time for everybody gets more information. Like John said, work out the money side of things. Hopefully, a little bit more. Maybe ESPN gives a little bit more money, et cetera, et
There
cetera. They
has
find another partner
it.
to stream with.
It's not going to happen if there's not incentives to being in the Premier League. There's not.
Yes.
Pro Rel is no owner is going to Bill Shively of Lexington is not going to actively decide, oh, we can be in the Premier League, but we would make or like the USL Prem. It would be called, I don't know what it'd be called, but
Yeah.
I don't see him calling it Premier just because that'd be really confusing.
It would, but who knows? That's the vernacular we're familiar with, though.
Yeah. But I have to spend more money and I don't get any more money for being up there. Like, that's not going to work. No one's going to do that type thing. And with recent news of today, technically speaking, we might have basically promotion, not relegation. Because
well, kind of with North Carolina.
For those who don't know, North Carolina self-relegated itself along with the Kickers in the League One. The Kickers did it a little earlier, but North Carolina relegated themselves in 2021 to League One for financial reasons. They reestablished themselves. They had that the soccer tournament and stuff going on.
The TST.
They had Sunderland just played there in a while. And for those who just got into the English Premier League, Sunderland is a huge club. Just because they haven't been
Lights. They have a whole Netflix documentary.
Just because they haven't been in the Prem in a while.
Yeah.
Anything I see that's like the ideal 20 of the Premier League, it always includes Sunderland. Yep. So just remember, just because a club is not, I have not seen them play in the Prem, does not mean they're not a big traditional club. And stuff. So it seems they financially recovered. I'm curious though, because this now leaves the league at 13 with Spokane and Santa Barbara joining. But that leaves the USL Championship. Well, does Milwaukee join next year?
Maybe. I'm gonna have to look. 24. Yeah, they start in 24.
Okay, so maybe the USL Championship doesn't drop, but someone has to come up. Like Knoxville came out of nowhere last year and joined League One. Like they weren't slated, so we can see what happens. It's I can either see a team from the championship dropping in a way of like the league saying, hey, we might help you out a little financially. I don't know how.
25. Milwaukee starts in 25. Sorry.
Okay, does any team start in 2024? Expansion?
I'll have to get there.
Milwaukee's the only one I know that has a name coming off the top of my head. Because NOLA, I haven't heard any word on that.
Jacksonville, Northwest. No.
Arkansas is too new. Jacksonville no, they're not an original show.
So you were speaking a moment ago about Lexington, John, and we have a very special guest for you, John. This guy is a true fan of the Bluegrass Soccer Cast. He reads all our articles. He hops in and comments on Twitter. John, help me welcome Charlie Machel to the show.
Ooh.
1 second. There he is. Possibly. Charlie, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can hear you.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
We're well,
good,
Charlie.
my friend.
Is the camera coming on or?
No, it's black right now. There was
It was off for like a second. We could see like the pulsing thing, but we'll just kind of carry forward. Yeah, we'll go with that for now. We'll see how it works.
Okay, sounds good.
Charlie, thank you for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. We were just talking about promotion and relegation. What are your thoughts of the USL? Are we going to do it? Or are we not? What are we doing?
I mean, I think for the league to continue growing, it would be great. I think one thing that America is missing is that promotion relegation, and it makes things a lot more exciting. It makes the games at the end of the year even more exciting rather than just playoffs and something to play for. I think you look at the other end of the scale and you see like it is in England where 19th are playing 20th or 17th are playing 19th, and there's a full stadium there because whoever loses gets relegated. Whereas in USL League One, if 11th are playing 12th on the last day, maybe the fans aren't too excited about it because what does it mean, sort of thing. So if you do add that into it, I think it would be amazing, not just for supporters but for players to be playing for something towards the end of the season.
Yeah, and I think that kind of excitement would be great. John, what would that mean for Lexington from a fan's perspective to see if your team is about to go up?
I think from a fan's perspective, some fans it could be hard to explain because some fans don't understand pro rel overall. But I think, oh, there we go, Charlie.
Hey, there we go.
I think
Welcome.
overall, to tell a team is like, hey, if they win this or this game or this stretch of games, they can be playing against Lou consistently, at least 2 matches a year type thing. And that's compelling to the fans. I fully think if we're playing Lou City next year in the Open Cup at Toyota, like that could fully see Toyota full again.
Look at his smile. He is smiling for that one.
I want it
what
full. I want my section full.
Yeah.
That game should have gone to extra time because that ball went over the line late. But no.
I know. We've had a couple of those this season. That's not the only one.
Oh, we did. I was at the Knox game. I was on that corner at the Knoxville game at the first one. I was like, that ball went over. I could not believe they didn't call that. But we finally got a break. Got our break.
Exactly. It was due. It was coming for sure.
It was due, and it was you as the unsung hero on that sending the pass. You threaded that needle.
I'm just happy it went to our head.
You threaded a perfect needle through 2 defenders, man. Like that was a 40-yard, 35-yard pass. Like it was perfect.
I'm glad it went to the guy who's anything he touches goes in the net at the moment. So it was a crazy end to that game, but what a way to finish it. Anyway, it was great to be a part of, and I'm sure fun to watch as well. It wasn't fun when we were 3-1 down, but
nope.
We were celebrating at 4-3.
Genuinely, when that third goal went in, and I was like, I had to be up early. I want to watch the U.S. I was tempted. I was very tempted to turn off.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
I know. I was tempted. All I said was tempted because I was like, oh, here we go. It's gonna the thing. And I don't know if you guys watched the replay. The announcer was dogging. Dogging. Like, they're the worst second half team, giving up the most goals, yada, yada, yada. And I was just like, whatever. We got this. It's NOCO. The youth owns NOCO.
Exactly.
He needs a flag and plant it.
He's been on fire against them. I think he scored. We were working it out. We scored a hat trick obviously last game, and then the game before he scored 2. But it should have been a hat trick from the cross that I put in the last minute, which he got done by, and then he scored the one that was the handball. So he scored 7 and 2. Real goals that probably should have counted. So it's impressive. He's on fire at the moment. We're very lucky to have him.
Well, and you're talking about the bounce back win on Saturday night, right? But how did the team react from Wednesday, which was a very hard loss, right, at Omaha, to then bouncing back and beating who was the number 1 team in the league?
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of sums us up this season. We've been a little bit inconsistent, but when we've been on it, we've been good enough to beat anyone. And that game showed the inconsistencies we've kind of had. So it was a tough one Wednesday. I think Omaha are on a run. I think it's obviously difficult to go to their place, and they did a good job against us, considering what we'd done against them previously. But then obviously to shake that off and go to Northern Colorado and be 3-1 down in a tough environment after being on the road for the week, after not having anything normal, not a normal preparation, to then come back 4-3. It was an incredible moment, and I think hopefully this is the kickstart we needed. I think the last few weeks the performances have been better and better after our kind of 4-game drought we had where nothing was going right for us. But this is the time you want to kick on. This is the time where you need that boost. So it was a great performance and something that we can definitely be proud of as a team, because I think if you'd said that to us after that 4-game loss that we would have come and won 4-3 at Northern Colorado, everyone would have laughed at us. And I read quite a few things about us. Do you know what I mean? Saying that this is going to be a breather for them, and thank goodness they've got a weekend off playing Lexington. And we didn't mention it in the dressing room, but I hope a few people saw it, because that was enough for me to go, I want to beat these guys just to prove some people wrong.
Yeah,
So,
And that was
off
by
your
the
bat.
league. That was
Yeah.
on the league's power ranking.
Well, exactly.
Produced
So,
by the league. Not only did they call it a breather, they said it was on Wednesday too.
Yeah,
so they're not
they
even
did
taking
mislabel
note of
it.
us, but now they're posting everything about us. So
Oh yeah,
They
it's,
always.
it was
That's-
a good way to stop some people talking, definitely.
That's the funniest thing I've noticed about the league is that anytime we're going and we're good, they're posting our stuff. I don't know if that's a credit to our media team being the best in the league or what. They're
Yeah,
always
they're
posting
pretty good.
Lex stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's I mean, I think that's soccer in general. Everyone wants to ride the train when things are going well, and that's personally and as a team, wherever you are, it's and people are when things are bad, everyone wants to jump on that train as well. So it's important for us not to look at that stuff, even though when you have a little eye on it and you say, let's go and prove these people wrong, then it was definitely a good feeling. But means nothing if we don't carry on now. So it's important that we kick on and use that performance to go again this weekend against a team that we definitely owe. After a shocking performance really from us last time that we were all extremely disappointed about. So that'll obviously be another tough game. I think they've got a new coach and things like that, and things have been looking up for them. So it's going to be a tough game for us, but we'll prepare right and fingers crossed get the 3 points.
Yeah, this one being at home though, so you would think it would be a better, more comfortable setting for you all.
Yeah.
Charlie, I was talking with Coach Stockley over the weekend, and I asked him how was the locker room, and he said literally, and I quote, "The boys were buzzing." How was that locker room after that win on Saturday night?
I mean, to be involved in I've been involved in some crazy games, but that was got to be up there. I think it was a lot of relief. I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves being in the position we're in, and obviously the circumstances of the game with the delay, and getting back in the locker room knowing we'd just done that. It was amazing. Everyone was delighted, buzzing. I was so happy for Atez, but for everyone really, because it was a full team effort. And yeah, we celebrated properly in the locker room after. I think there was a video of everyone jumping around and
slamming the
and
things.
and I mean,
was it like a little bitty trailer? Is that what y'all?
Yeah,
were
it was like a tiny trailer they put us in, which made it even better because we were right on top of each other. You know, it was really good. It was a great atmosphere, and I think and well deserved for everyone to enjoy that moment, considering what we've been through this season.
I'm curious because of that videos and pictures. How fast does Foxy change? Because in every single like post game celebration, he's either already in street clothes or he was in like his towel. It's like he gets in and he's like in the shower.
He's trying to get first to the buffet after the game. That's right. He's the first one to get the first.
Hey.
He gets the best bit of chicken with his pasta.
I can't blame him for that. If that's a strategy, bold move, and I love it.
Exactly. If you're trying to get the best chicken wing or whatever, there's no chance of Foxes in the room.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah.
Charlie, kind of want to talk to us a little bit about how that win will propel the team forward as you now have a legitimate chance to make a playoff push.
Yeah, I think winning breeds confidence. Really, I don't think. I mean, there's definitely been some games that we could have done better. There's been games where we've played really well and not got the result that we wanted. A lot of ties and close games. Maybe things haven't fell for us. So I don't think that much is going to change in terms of the way we're going about things. I think we prepare really well. The staff give us the best preparation possible for every game. But the confidence to know that we can go away and win games. I think the confidence to know that we can beat the top teams. So I mean, we've taken points off Northern Colorado and North Carolina now. Taking points off Madison. So that confidence is definitely there, and it's just down to us to really to kick on with that. I think, like I said, winning definitely breeds confidence, and players starting to to perform consistently is massive for us. Getting goals, and obviously we need to tighten up in defensively as a full team, not just our defenders. As a full team, we have to tighten up because we know we can score goals. So if we can start to keep clean sheets, then things will be a lot easier for us. So, like I said, I don't think things with preparation and things like that will change too much because that's been perfect from our staff all year. But I think just that confidence, knowing we can go and beat the top teams, will definitely help. And listen, there's 11 games to go, and we've got to win as many as we can, and we'll be going for it, and there's no reason not to. I think with the squad we have, there's no reason why we couldn't do that.
Now with the new formation change, now you don't have to release exactly what it is because
No secrets to Central
at least
Valley.
the apps at least still report y'all playing on 4-4-2, which is y'all obviously are not. But how did that feel? Like, how did y'all react in a sense to that new formation? Because y'all have been playing really good. You only lost one game in the 4 since the new formation. I think overall it plays y'all's strengths a little better. How do you feel in the new formation, how it plays to y'all's strengths and weaknesses more?
I think the coach put together a very, like he likes to call it, a hybrid squad. So we have players that can play in multiple positions, which we're very lucky about. I think whatever formation we go into, because we have that experience of different positions, it makes it pretty, well, not easy, but it makes it an easier transition. So going into a different formation, knowing that we can chop and change and switch things up is another thing is a good confidence booster for us. I think the change that we've had has been good. It's a refresher, really. I think whether we were top of the league or where we are, I think it was a good thing to do, to know that we can do it. And yeah, I mean, results have been better, but we can still improve on it. So we're still working hard on it. It's definitely not something that's concrete and we're amazing at yet, but I think it suits us. And also the 4-4-2, like you were saying, we played good games with that as well. So I think that's a good thing for us going into the next few games. Teams aren't going to know what we're going to come out with, and we can change in the middle of games pretty quickly. So if we do need a change, we have those 2 options or 3 options. And a formation's just paper. I mean, people are moving all over.
True.
Do you know what I mean? We're very lucky to have analysis teams and staff that show us different movements and how we can. I mean, the game's evolving so much. So how we can move around the field and be a centre midfielder, but be on the right wing and still be in the right position at a certain time. Things like that. It helps us a lot. So yeah, it's good to have these multiple formations, and I think it'll only help us as we move forward.
I think that really shows like your flexibility too, right? Like as a group of
Yeah.
players, you show that you can be flexible. Now, not so much as like the Danish total football concept, nothing like that, right? But
Exactly, yeah.
it shows that you
Dutch.
can be attacking. Yes, sorry, what did I say?
You said Danish.
Close enough. I had a Pop-Tart a few minutes ago, so I guess that's where that came from. The Dutch total football. Wow, that Orange Army is really going to come after me for that one, aren't they? Orange Crush, Orange Army, whatever. Anyways, it shows your flexibility as players. It gives you all a variety in the attack and on the defense when other teams are preparing for you all. Kind of makes them think a little bit more about what formation that you're going to be in. John, any more questions for Charlie?
Personally, not in terms of game. Just for some of the fans who might not follow Tyler's stuff as much or same, just what's been your favorite random go-to spot in Lex? Doesn't have to be. It could be food, could be a park, just someplace you've found that you really like and you can go enjoy and time to yourself or something like that.
There's a little place called Pearl's Pizza. Don't know if you've heard of it. It's on Limestone. and it does bagels in the morning and pizza at night time. And
Very good bagels.
what a spot that is. I love that place. It's not far from where I live, so definitely walked down there a few times. And then I think that new, like the distillery district I really like as well, to walk around with the good fellas. I think whenever my family have been over, that's a place that we go for a walk around. And you know, when you've got young kids and stuff like that, you can take them there. There's games to play and all that kind of thing. So that's a really nice open area as well that I like going to. But as a whole, I think it's such a good city. I think people from outside have no idea that it's such a big place and such a small place almost, and you've got so much to do and loads of good restaurants and lots of things to do with friends and family. So it's nice. I really enjoy being here.
Man, you are making me miss Lexington. I used to live there in the distillery district. I loved going there.
What a place, man. Great place.
It's all right. Bowling Green's pretty awesome too.
Yeah. That's Bowling Green. I think that's where Tate Robertson went to school. He went to university in Bowling Green. I remember him telling me that.
That's the other Bowling Green. That's Bowling Green State in Ohio, not Bowling Green. You
don't want to go to that.
Okay,
Bowling
don't worry
Green.
about it.
That Bowling Green.
The one in Ohio. Nobody wants to go to Ohio, anyways. But
yeah, I keep saying to Robbo, I'm not going there with you.
Yeah, I'm originally from Detroit. That's right on. That college comes out of the middle of nowhere. It's literally just flat, and there's nothing, and then there's just this college. It's literally in the middle of nowhere.
And their fans about mobbed me one time, but that's another story for a different day. Charlie, last question for you here, sir. Where can fans find out more information about the team, and how can they prepare for Saturday night's matchup against Central Valley?
Obviously, all the social media accounts like yourselves, giving great insight to everything that's been going on, and Tyler, and then obviously all the social medias for the club as well give a great insight, which is, we're very lucky to have so many people, you know, for this club, really diving into it and giving a lot of information that, you know, you don't get at a lot of clubs. So we saw it in the airport yesterday when we were coming back. We were delayed a long time, and we were sitting there, and a lot of people knew what was going on. And they said, and how do you know that? And we said, we've read it online, you know, we've read it in different podcasts, we listen to podcasts and stuff like that. So it's great, you know. Like I said, we're really lucky to have so many dedicated people following us, and yeah, Saturday night should hopefully be a massive game. And I'm hoping, because obviously everyone's back to school, all the kids are back to school, that a lot of people will be in town, and it'll be a loud one, especially after the result. We need a loud one, because I think I remember back to the Tormentor game at home when we won 2-1, and the atmosphere was incredible. And we scored pretty late on, I think it was, and it was brilliant. Colorado as well. So if we can replicate that on Saturday with a big crowd, it just, for opposition teams, it's just a nightmare, and it just gives you that little advantage that's massive. So hopefully big crowd Saturday, hopefully 3 points, and then another kick on going to Knoxville the following week, which will again be a good game. So
bring
lots
the
of exciting stuff.
Barrel with you.
Exactly.
Bring that barrel home.
Yeah, yes. Exactly.
We're trying to bring a crew down. I'm going to be there at least, but we're trying to get a crew to come down.
Quality. No, we appreciate it, mate.
Charlie, what's your social media handle so the fans can follow you as well?
Mine is just at Charlie Machel on Instagram and Twitter as well.
Awesome. Right. Charlie, we really appreciate you hopping on here, and let us know if you have any insights you want to share with us. If you want to make any announcements or anything like that, come back on the show.
Yeah, I will do, mate. I'll let you know if there's any news coming. But I appreciate you having me on, and like I said, thank you from all the team for all the insights you're giving, and we all really appreciate it, all the support.
Absolutely.
You guys make it easy. You take care of the fans well.
No, we've got to, mate. We've got to, for sure. They're top people. Everyone's been great with us.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much again, Charlie, and we will talk to you again very soon. Surprise, John. Well, so with that out of the way, um, we really do appreciate all the watchers, all the folks that read our articles. We do everything we can to keep this podcast free. But if you're feeling generous, we do have a Buy Me a Coffee account that goes to support the channel. Again, it's not a requirement. We're never going to make our content behind any kind of a paywall. But if you're feeling generous and you want to contribute to the show, we would always welcome it.
No
We got
paywall.
the QR code on the screen there. What?
No paywall. I'm pretty sure we don't do ads in our
Nope.
podcast.
No ads.
Yeah. So
this
you want to keep it that way, get us some coffee.
And the Buy Me Coffee account doesn't mean that you're actually buying us a coffee. It's any kind of donation, $1, $2, $3, however much you are willing to contribute to our cause, we'd greatly appreciate it.
Yes,
But John, let's now go to the bottom line. And I want to kind of start with Lexington, since we've kind of talked about them several times here, just kind of getting everybody abreast and making sure we're all on the same page, right? Was last Wednesday, Lexington did lose, unfortunately, to Union Omaha 2-0. 9th out of 10 road matches this season that they had lost. The other one at that time was a draw. I'm building up the excitement towards Saturday night. Overall, the team was kind of disorganized, didn't look great. Big road match. A lot of things happened, right?
Yeah, a lot of things happened. There was some disorganized, and we found out earlier this week that Charlie was under the weather, so that's contributed some. I feel like I'm big one to stand this, that Charlie is crucial to the team, even if he's not healthy per se, but he's crucial to the attack. We saw that. I watched the away game against Richmond. When he leaves because of his head injury, it's evident then.
Totally different.
He's very crucial to the team, so I think him just not being full, that could have affected. And if you're under the weather, even if you're on the bench, some guys can lead from the bench. We famously saw that with Ronaldo in that Euro run type thing. Guys can lead from the bench. If you're under the weather, if you're like me, I sulk. Don't talk to me. I
sink
just
into existence.
I just exist type thing. I get a little crabby. So I'm not saying Charlie's that way, but
but John is.
It could have been hard for him to be a leader while dealing with whatever he was dealing with, illness wise. So,
when I'm feeling ill, though, John, I am literally the biggest baby in the world, and I don't want to do anything. I want to cry about everything, and then I'll get better in a day or two. But anyways, getting better in a day or two is exactly what happened to Lexington. As on Saturday night, we've talked about it quite a bit here. They got their first road win in franchise history, and they had their first hat trick in franchise history.
Should have been our second.
Should have been, yes.
I will die on my hill that the youth was onside against NoCo, but he got it again against NoCo. As Charlie said in that interview, he's gotten 7 goals. He's put the ball in the back of the net 7 times against NoCo, Northern Colorado this year. Just put it aside. 2-word call back or whatever you want to call them. But he's put the ball past their keeper 7 times. That is pure ownership of a team. And that's owning a team that's not only one of the better offensive teams. NoCo has been one of the better defensive teams on the year. Their defense is not as insane as their offense, but it's still there. They still have a good quality keeper. And now this does give me some hope, because after his first go around, he did score again. He helped us get our first ever points on the road when we tied Tormenta. So when the U's hot, it's very hard to stop him. He's very insane. I don't understand why San Antonio let him go. Now, San Antonio is playing well. in the championship. They kind of don't need him, but I'm very, very glad we have him right now.
Yeah, I mean, he is literally the heartbeat of the attack, right? Like you've got Charlie that can help from the back end and can help get the ball up to him, but his ability to finish and his ability to put the ball in the back of the net is making the difference for Lexington. And they really showed a lot of resilience
Yeah.
in coming back to win this game. Like we've kind of already mentioned, weather delay, being down multiple goals, and getting a late draw, like a great equalizer, then to get the late winner. Like this team showed a lot of gumption to come back.
Not only being down multiple goals. So a lot of people say the best lead is a 2-goal lead in soccer because you're allowed one mistake, and that mistake can be okay. Now it's tight. We got to tighten up type thing, but it's the sense that you still have that thing. We let in 3 unanswered goals.
Yep.
Technically in the time span of like 20 minutes. It was really like an hour 30, but in terms of game clock, 20 minutes. And then we came back. And I think that's what a lot of people who don't actually watch the team don't see is the heart and the drive in these guys. And it's a lot of the critics, and this is in terms of any soccer critic, there's a lot of them who think soccer is like this super easy thing and the net's so big, like how can you miss it type things. Like it's not that simple, people. We have seen world class, even Messi, miss easy shots, miss
Indeed.
gimmies.
Yeah.
Gimmies in that opinion. It's not easy. There's a reason, and the non-soccer fans joke about this. There's a reason that there's draws a lot. There's a reason 3 goals is a lot in soccer type thing. It's hard to do. It's hard to score. So it's not as simple as just saying score. But this team did not quit at all, no matter what. Even going down against the best team after a delay, that had to throw them off because they came back from an hour delay, played like 8 minutes, and then went back to a 15-minute break. I don't know what the rules are for if they can stay on the field or not during halftime. I'm not fully sure. I know they have certain rules. I personally would have just kept them, like just warm up, stay loose.
The bench can stay out there and warm up and stuff like that, but
Yeah,
I don't know
that
about
because
the
they
starters.
do. Which I'm always curious about is like when the bench stays out, because if I'm a coach, I would just want the whole team there.
Yeah.
I
Spread the
get I
message.
am talking to but if I'm talking to my starters, you're my subs. I want you on the know the same thing I'm telling them because I expect you to do it on fresh legs type thing. So Stockley takes the whole
and I
team
wonder
in.
if they take, for those that leave a bunch of players out there, I wonder if they maybe consider taking 1 or 2 in that they're gonna make early subs for. Maybe they bring them in with the starters and the first line, or they just leave everybody out there, and then because I always do that little conference right before they send them on the field with like a coach or an assistant coach and the player. Is that where they kind of go over like, okay, you're gonna do this, you're gonna go here, you're gonna do that.
And then there's some teams that just they don't really deliver halftime messages. They kind of
just a break.
It's a break. Take your time. Go on, get in your own thing. Talk to amongst yourselves. Figure it out. Because some coaches don't want to like change. You have 15 minutes. You don't want to like, all right, we're scrapping this formation. We're doing this. We got to completely change all the plan. So we'll see. But they definitely came out and showed it. This team has resilience. They are 2-1-1 in whatever the new formation is. I still think it's a 3-5-2, but at times looks slightly different. And they have hope. As much as I say it, they have hope to push. It's going to be hard to sneak into that thing, but they were projected, mind you. Every projection had Lex dead last. There was projections at kind of think it was post Tormenta's blowout or something like that, where Lex was still like on pace to have one of the worst point seasons ever if you take out the 2020 COVID year.
Yeah, you can't calculate that in.
Yeah, they're now 9 points. Yeah, they're 9 points from clearing the worst record.
Wow.
And they have 11 games to go. So that's very much doable to climb out. Now, there has been a gap created between playoffs right now and the rest of the league. But if they can finish 7th,
that would be really impressive.
Finish 7th, win the barrel, all in this stuff in your first season, go for it. Like, there's a point in soccer seasons where in Prem, you're out of Europe, but you can be further towards, you can be closer to the top than you are to the bottom.
Right.
Now, granted, it's a 12-team league, so being in 7th, you are closer to the bottom than you are to the top. But finishing in 7th in front of 5 teams who you're all projected to be better than you is a big deal. And if it puts anything, this whole league is crazy because the defending champs aren't even in the playoffs right now. Right. It could be the first to never make the playoffs in the league's history.
It's crazy to see that fall. Like, you go from y'all were holding the trophy to now y'all might finish in last place. Not out of the playoffs. I mean, that's a bit far-fetched, yes, but there's a chance at it.
But Red Wolves were in the final last year, and they or Fuego is going to finish in last place. Fuego, I will say this. I'm going to talk more about this on Wednesday. Fuego, since they fired their new coach and got a new one, or their intern, whatever, has looked like a night and day team.
Oh, yeah. Totally different.
They're not a pushover. Now, I'm curious if X is still playing because he's supposed to start at UCLA this year, so I'm not sure when he would report.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Fall. They start in the fall, so this could
his
be
camp
X
would have opened at the beginning of the month.
This could be X last game because now he's a freshman, so he could already be there. I have no idea. I can look more into this, but if he wasn't a freshman and I was a coach and I was like, he knows the system type thing, I might let him go keep playing against grown men and then come join me a little closer to whatever it was. But if he's a freshman going into UCLA, I don't know if that coach is keeping, like, what's the case type thing. Also, I don't get these contracts and how they work. So
yeah, I don't either, especially for his contract. Like, how are you that young, still choosing to go to college, and you're still playing for the pro team? I don't quite see how that works.
You're playing for a fully professional team. Like, they're not semi-pro where like you technically cannot pay one player.
Right.
So that's technically how semi-pro works. The league doesn't mandate you pay everybody. But the USL Union, Players Union, that's not that great. It's not that powerful of a union, but it's still a union. Still a Players Union has work that if you're on a USL roster, besides he's on an academy type contract, whatever it is, if you're on a main roster, you're getting paid something. I don't know what the minimum is, but you're getting paid for your performance or being on the roster at least. So
and I have no idea what those contracts look like or how they're negotiated or anything like that. But
the USL,
so make sure you come back. Oh, I'm sorry.
The USL has done a good job at keeping the contract media out of its league. It's a little frustrating at times.
Yep.
Because, like, I go on Transfer Market, all I can look at is player values. I have no idea how much they're getting paid. But however they do it, they've done a good job that no one can find their contracts.
Well, make sure you come back on Wednesday for that full breakdown of Lexington Sporting Club and Central Valley Fuego from this weekend. And hopefully Lexington can get another victory. Now you really got some momentum pushing towards the playoffs. Speaking of being on momentum towards the playoffs, we're going to jump from Lexington over to Louisville. And Lou City has come back to life. They are back from the dead. But are they? I'll ask that question here in a minute. Louisville City had a 3-0 win over FC Tulsa over the weekend. Cameron Lancaster had a standout performance with a goal and an assist, showing that he is still very capable of being the elite player that we know him to be when he's healthy, right? His health has been something that they have struggled with this year. His vintage performance from this past weekend really showed how the attack for Louisville can still be impressive, even with some injuries and some guys are still trying to get back. And also the shift to the 3-back system, kind of similar to what Lexington has done, changing formation. For Louisville, it also makes them even more dangerous on the attack. When you go from having no attack to having some attack, you feel very dangerous at that point, right?
Yes, I tweeted this after their third goal. Is Lou City back? Now, it's 2 games. 2 games that you've won by a combined 5-0. So, but y'all are looking more like the Lou City of old, of great attacking football, all that type of stuff. Let's see if they continue. If they do what they've done these past 2 games in this next match, which is against who is it?
Let me scroll down.
The Charleston Battery. Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect one. If you can do this, what you've done these past 2 games, not even necessarily like you don't need to win by multiple goals.
Right.
If you beat the Battery with your still great attack showing promise, like forcing the keeper to make saves, and you win, I think it's fair to say that Lou City's back. Now, if they draw, it's not like, oh, they're back to losing 3 in a row, like what's going on type thing. They've distanced themselves from that. But I do think there's where is the line? How are they back, or are they like, okay, this team is performing well again?
I think that's where I am. I think I'm not quite ready to fully say Lou City is back. I'm not ready yet. But I agree with you, John. I think they're on the path to getting back to being back, if that makes sense at all. These performances, these last 2, really showed that this is a team that can hit their stride and make a deep run in the playoffs. And Coach Cruz even talked about that last week or the week before, that when this team gets rolling, they want to just keep it going all the way through the end of the regular season and into the playoffs. And they're on pace to do that right now. The Eastern Conference is kind of pulled back a little bit. Lou City's been able to jump back up in the playoff race, but I'm not quite ready to say they're back yet. Now, if they continue to get performances like Oliver did, their keeper, with the record-breaking 11th shutout
For a rookie.
Yes, it really shows that if the attack can keep going, that goalie is great. That back line is going to make some stops. They're going to be able to fight a little bit harder in these matches that mean more down the road.
I don't know what his name is off the top of my head, but I think Lou City might be in danger of losing their goalkeeper coach.
Oliver Smiley or Smalley.
The coach.
Oh, the coach. Oh,
because they had the Golden Glove winner last year.
Oh, that's right, they did.
I forget his name.
That's a good thought, John.
But so you not only have the Golden Glove winner, I don't know. I forget if he left or not. I just remember seeing as he had like special gloves that were gold to start the season. And granted, he probably was the one that got like the 5 put against him in Sacramento or whatever. Yep. And then you just bring in a new guy who comes in, sets the rookie record for shutouts. It can match the actual league record or maybe even break it. That's insane to be on the coach. That could be Cruz. That could be – but I don't see Semley leaving Lou City after this right now.
I don't know. He could easily He could easily get a contract with, a tier 2, tier 3 English club. Maybe even somebody like Wrexham could look to offer him an opportunity. I don't know.
Well, for as of right now, Semele would at least be with the team till January.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, and even with the victory, right? Lou City currently sits 6 points off the top spot in the East with 12 games remaining. So they, 2 more wins and 2 losses, especially if one of those wins is over Charleston. Boom, you're right in competition again, right?
You're right in competition. Everyone forgets about this little hiccup. Oh, you had a little hiccup. Whatever. It's like it completely will change the narrative of that stretch because they're going to be like, we were injured, we just couldn't figure stuff out. Yeah, it was fine. It happens. They righted the ship type thing, not what Twitter or many fans are saying during that.
Yeah, sometimes these Twitter accounts get a little spicy during the games about what they want to see happen, to say the least. But overall, John, this was a really good performance by Lou City. It's good to see them put back-to-back performances together. Hopefully, they can make it 3 in a row against Charleston. I think Charleston is second in the table. Yes,
Or
third.
They're the top 3. I'm pretty sure is Charleston,
Pittsburgh,
Lou. Yeah, it's Pittsburgh at 44. Charleston, Tampa Bay.
Oh, Tampa. I forget about Tampa. I'm sorry, Rowdies. Not sorry.
Yeah. The Riverhounds have a 5-point lead, 5-point gap between them and the Battery. And the gap between Lou City and the Battery is 4 points.
So this would go a long way to get this victory over them this weekend. I believe it's at home.
Yes, it is.
Yes, at home. Yeah. So, well, John, that will kind of wrap up all of the good notes from this weekend as we transition.
Go for it. Wednesday. It's a Wednesday game. They have a 2-game week. Because
my notes are all off.
Right? I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday. Yeah. Because I saw something about a 2-game week. And I was about to say that unless Racing and Lou decide to do a back-to-back game, because the 19th. No, that's next weekend.
Yeah, it would be next weekend. That's my apologies. I overlooked
I've gotten my dates so confused in August. They're like everywhere because I'm trying to plan for the Knoxville game. And we have talked about going to the Phil the Fam game for Racing a bit. So, my dates are everywhere. I don't know what day it is.
Well, so on Wednesday night, right before, come to the podcast, listen to us kind of break down that game against Charleston, then give it a watch on your second screen so that you can keep us on the main screen, of course. Then Lou City does play Rio Grande Valley on Saturday at home. So
back-to-back home games. Back-to-back home games. So
back-to-back busy week at home, chance to get 6 points, one of them over a team that could really help you in your hunt for securing home field advantage or at least a better playoff position, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, John, we will transition away from the good, happy feelings and into a little bit of a more sad state as we talk about our final 2 teams for this week. Racing Louisville suffered we'll go on and we'll talk about the U.S. women's team, then we'll come to Racing. We'll end on them. The U.S. national team had a heartbreaking loss on Sunday morning, 5-4 in extra time of penalties. And this has really been polarizing to see both on Twitter and in sports media these couple of days here, or hours.
Point on that.
Yeah.
If you are making an argument about why this team lost that is not about coaching decisions or on the field performance, you are wrong. I'm sorry.
Yes. 110%.
There is because the agenda pushing. What agenda? I've asked people this. You're thinking of 2019 when they were trying to get their equal pay. The equal pay has been done and signed.
Right.
They've got And if those who cried, well, both the men and the women, the exact same in the World Cups. 1 win, 2 draws, knocked out in the round of 16. Literally the
Right.
same. Little difference that the women scored a little more goals, but that's it. So if anything, they got equal. Equal performance type thing.
Well,
Great.
and
Now,
go for it.
go. You're good.
Oh, I was just going to say, you made a good point. I was going to pivot off of it. You talked about the goals scored, right? So they only, if you take the penalties out, right? Because that kind of skews the
But
numbers, right?
They don't even, if you look at scores, it's confusing sometimes because
It is.
some things will report penalties as like the final score, and others will do like the 0 parentheses or like the sub thing.
That's what I did
So
in
it's
our notes.
confusing sometimes. I do the sub thing or at least the parentheses. So it's like, no, it wasn't like a 5-4 game that somehow went to like that somehow played 120 minutes and then someone
No.
scored like a game winner.
Well, but the thing I was going to talk about the goals, right? So 4 goals in 4 matches, right? 3 of those was against Vietnam.
4 goals in 4
And
matches and only 1 conceded.
yes, only 1 conceded, yes, but they didn't have what it takes tactically, in my opinion. That tactically they did not have what it takes, or they didn't have the people in the right positions, or something like that, to where they could capitalize on Portugal or even on Sweden, because they, for the majority of that game, were the better team. They had more of the opportunities. They looked more dangerous. They should have got a goal.
Sweden's keeper played out of her mind. 11 saves is big. Like,
yeah, Musovic.
Yeah, however you say her last name. 11 saves is a big thing. That's not like, oh, 11 saves is like a legit like performance. Literally 1 ball messes up. 1 ball she's maybe an inch too late to, or like an inch too low, and we're not even talking about this. We're not talking about Rapinoe's smile or whatever you people want to deem as a reason they lost. You're not talking.
That's just insane.
One, it just shows how many people don't follow, because everyone is only talking about Rapinoe, who she was the second to miss. I forget who went before her because I've been having to defend her.
Well, I think Alex Morgan missed, right? Or did she hit?
I think she got. No, did she? No, the keeper didn't have to make any saves. But like Sophia Smith missed. We had 3 straight people miss. It happens, people. There's been famous world-class athletes to miss it. There's a famous photo from the 1994 World Cup final of Roberto Baggio, it's called The Man Who Died Standing, because he just sailed.
Sophia Smith was the other one.
The first one?
No, she was the second one.
Was Rapinoe
so Rapinoe missed, and Rapinoe missed. So Sullivan scores, Horan scores, Muse scores, Rapinoe misses, Smith misses, Alyssa Nair scores, and then Kelly O'Hara missed to conclude the PKs.
Okay. So, but there you go. You have Sophia Smith, who's supposed to be our like replacement of Alex Morgan. Star. Yeah, she misses, which I will say, as much as I hate all the hate going towards Rapinoe, there's time. I know she can handle it because it's just been her whole career. At least these past 10 years have been that way. And I'm glad it's not going towards Sophia Smith or these like younger players right now.
Yeah.
Because wherever these people came from to dog on the U.S. women's is just insane. Like, but I'll say this: there is a curse for teams that have won back-to-back World Cups. So only 4 teams have ever done it. The U.S. being one, and they've got knocked out. Germany women's were the other team in the women's side. They got knocked out at the same stage as the U.S. did. Now, technically, it was the quarterfinal, but that in the 2011 World Cup. The 2011 World Cup had half the teams this World Cup had, and only had 16. Yeah. So they went out at the same spot. They went out at the first knockout game. And then the men's side, here's the first team ever to repeat was Italy in 38 or 34-38. Granted, they had a
But that's a
12-year
very
gap because
different
of the
world.
war.
Yeah.
They had a 12-year gap because of the war, but in 1950, they're still the defending champs. Still the two-time defending champs. They go in, they lose. They don't make it out of the group stage in 1950. Nope. This is even a bigger deal. 1966, Brazil is the two-time defending champs with 26-year-old Pele. So prime Pele. They don't make it out of the group. So, and then they win it next year. Pele played in 4 World Cups. He didn't play a knockout stage in one of them, and that was when they were trying to three-peat. I think there is a bit of a curse on the back-to-backs. Now, we very much could be on to the quarterfinals. We very much have the talent and the pieces there. I fully think Vlatko needs to go.
Yes, I'm really surprised, John, at 8:11 Central, 9:11 Eastern time on Monday. He is still the head coach of the women's team. Maybe they're just trying to be respectful until he gets home. But
I don't see him firing him like that.
He's got to go.
Him doing. I do agree he has to go, but I don't see him doing that like Brazil, like you're gone before you reach the plane. I want
full Vince McMahon from the late 90s. You're fired. Like I want full on like it. He just didn't manage this team as they should have been managed. Lack of subs. Why was Savannah DeMello not playing at all in that last game?
The subbing didn't make sense. The positioning didn't make sense.
Oh my God!
He finally went to the dominant positioning for like the 4-3-3 we ran in the group. Like didn't make sense because we were
not at all.
We stumbled. What was it? Was it late in 2022 when we stumbled and people are like that's when the questions started coming like that after that point we started like going on a tear, winning like the She Believes Cup and all that stuff. Not running a 4-3-3. And all of a sudden he walks in and is like, we're going to run a 4-3-3 for a 3-stage round. One that we needed to win our group. And I fully believe if they win the group, they're on to the quarterfinal. Like South Africa, if they have the same performance against South Africa, no disrespect to South Africa. They beat them.
And all of them. No disrespect to them at all.
They would beat them just by personnel. Sweden is currently the second best team in this tournament. Like
agreed.
And we took them to pens. We took them to 7 pens.
Yep.
And it ended.
Extra pens.
I fully don't agree with this by the refs with how I agree it was a goal. The final thing was a goal, in my opinion. But if I'm a ref, I'm not letting that be the final thing. I'm not even leaving it to chance. I'm going to say it's a save. Go until someone legit scores a penalty that you can't argue over or like technology but especially because it was like slightly like there's some people argue, well, I like it has a few pixels are on the line. It's not over. If I saw that picture, I would just win. I agree it's over. Yeah. If I'm a ref on a big stage, it'll be like, save it, just keep shooting until someone like it's definitive.
I agree.
No one can argue. I can't be like criticized or like all these excuses can come out of the woodwork for it. Just make it definitive. But it's the wake-up call. We needed this. We needed to get humbled. I feel this could be bad for the rest of the world. As much as I've said the rest of the world is caught up, I fear the U.S. on a revenge tour. A healthy U.S., too. Like, we were missing 7 contributors. Like, you could argue the 7 players who were injured, how they would fit in the team. Those 7 contributors play over 7 of the newbies on the roster. I'm sorry, they do. And that takes your roster from being majority new debutantes to being, let's give these 7 rising stars of Rodman, DeMello, Smith, all this stuff. Let's give them time, and that had to have all the weight on them.
I truly question Vladko a lot on how he managed this team. How do you bring 2 center backs? That's it. You only brought 2 to the whole tournament. 2. And you didn't
Play him
even
out of position.
play them in the first 2 matches. Like, how do you do
And
that? Like, why are you wasting their time? They could have
you
been
bring
a different formation and played both of them because they're both quality. Why in the midfield did you have Julie Ertz back on the defensive side, but you designed that midfield position specifically for her, and you don't even put her in the position to be successful? Like,
and
those
then
are
when
the
you
things that
finally
I get so
do, you're
frustrated with.
dominant. When you finally put
Yes,
Ertz
yes,
at her natural position, how this team is formed around her
right,
as a central defensive midfielder, it works. Not her playing center back. She did great
right.
playing center back because she's a world
She
class
did.
player,
She did.
but that's not her natural position.
Agreed.
Why are you playing Smith on the wing? I get
Oh my
Morgan's a
God! Don't
dominant.
even.
Pair them both. Smith is
Yes,
a natural 9.
pair
We
them
have
up.
the men's side would kill for someone like Smith. Now
Oh my God! Yes.
we have Flo Balogun, but the
And
men's side would
Ferreira,
kill
I
for
mean,
someone.
Ferreira
Yeah,
could do that maybe
yeah,
if he's playing a
would
Caribbean team.
kill for someone like Smith, where you have a top. You could argue Sophia Smith is one of the top 9s in the world. And that's
I don't
another
even
thing I've
think it's an
seen.
argument.
And that's another thing I've seen. People are like, America needs to stop playing in the NWSL. They need to go to Europe. All this type of stuff. I was like,
We have the best league.
debatable by ELO ratings. It's still debatable. But we have a top 3 league. The NWSL sent the 3rd most players to the World Cup. That's ahead of the French league. That's ahead of the German league, which everyone says like the German women's Bundesliga is like one of the best. They didn't send that many players.
Nope, they definitely did not. Not as many as the as Racing Louisville or even
Yeah.
all of the NWSL.
We were behind only the FA Super League and the La Liga Femenina.
Yeah.
So Spain, so we're a top 5 league, like
No, top 3 minimum.
Top 3, yes, top 3 league minimum in my opinion, but there's the top 5 league talk of like type thing where you'll accept an American men player playing in any of the top 5 leagues. Is like, this is a big deal type thing.
We got
The
so
NWSL is
excited
a
that
top
Josh
league.
Winder was going to play for Benfica B, not even Benfica A. I mean, yes, he will get on the A team, but we acted like this was like the savior coming to a Portuguese side. That's their B team. Like, it's insane to even think that the NWSL is anything less than 3rd at worst.
There was the joke, and this is what I don't get about men, about like our expectations for the women versus men. Yes, the women are dominant. We should expect them to be dominant. But like, people are critiquing because Rapinoe was dancing before one game. They took selfies with
Who
fans.
cares?
There was someone, I was like, we
Don't have
to critique. We don't have to critique every single thing athletes do. Like, it's not needed. And you don't need to look at everything as like, well, that's why they lost. After they draw it against a non-top 10 team, they took pictures with fans. Y'all would be singing a different tune if they walked past all those fans, asking for their autograph. You would be murdering them at the stake, saying, oh, they don't care about their fans. These people traveled all the way to Australia or New Zealand or wherever the game was played to see them, and they can't even take a moment to take a selfie. And then they do, and it's like they can't do anything right unless it's straight up lifting a trophy. That's the only time they get praise from half the people. And Carly Lloyd is the one person who's slightly outspoken of former U.S. women's national players, which other ones have been critiquing her and calling her out for being way over critical, like being too high, like Alexi Lawless level of just trying to be clickbait. But no, Carly Lloyd is this one person that semi-agrees with these people, and she's like the authority of like, yes, Carly Lloyd, you could argue, is one of the greatest women players of all time, but that doesn't make her an authority over others who have played. Just because Just because she's one of the best of all time doesn't make her an authority over others. She retired. She wasn't part of this team. I don't care what you think. Anyone who's not actively part of the team, even if they left a week prior, is not actively in that environment, cannot speak onto what's actually going on. Doesn't matter.
100%
Doesn't
agree.
matter if you know every single person in that room like your heart. You do not know exactly what's going on or what's going through their heads unless they directly tell you.
Right.
You're just speculating.
For all of those fans, I'm gonna put those in air quotes, right?
No, they're not fans. They rooted against America. There was supposedly
fans.
There was supposedly a watch party that someone said people of American fans. Some apparently cheered when Rapido missed.
Well, to all of those people, please go back to watching Fox News and stay the hell out of my sport.
Yeah, you're not a fan. You're not I don't care. And this is going to get slightly political. America, for the legit, well, I think it's the second right you have in the Bill of Rights. It's in the First Amendment, but the second thing mentioned is freedom of speech.
Right.
That means you can say whatever you want. Just because you don't agree with someone politically doesn't mean they hate America or all this type of stuff. If they truly hated America, they would leave. They wouldn't represent the team. You had Spanish players actively choose that said, we're sitting out and not playing, 15 of which, because we don't like the coach. And the Federation went, okay, and they replaced them. But it very much, if Rapinoe didn't want to play for the United States or didn't care about winning for the U.S., she wouldn't have played. She would have actively chose and just said no. So anyone who's trying to say that she actively hates America, doesn't want America to succeed, that she smiled as her last FU to America, people smile sometimes at stuff. It was a smile of disbelief. It's been since 2018 that last time she missed a penalty for club or country. That's a 5-year run. Stop.
I would love to see somebody else in whatever line of work, coal mining, working in the factory, whatever. Has it been 5 years since you've made any kind of a mistake? No? Okay, sit down, shut up, go watch Fox News. Anyways, though, John, we'll jump off of this bandwagon with this here.
Sorry,
Yeah, we'll calm it down a little bit. I do want to say we are very proud of our women here. We are very excited to see what happens after this because, John, you brought up a good point. This is a good opportunity to rebuild, bring in some of that younger talent, develop them to replace Rapinoe, to replace Julie Ertz and all of the legends that have come before them. So we look forward to see where they go next.
With a level head, the rest of the world is caught up. There's one former champion remaining in this entire tournament. There is, unless there's games going on right now, which I don't know off the top of my head. Of the 10 teams remaining, 3 have played in the final. And all 3 of those had to go through each other.
Right.
On one side of the bracket.
4 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Central.
On the right side of the bracket, there's 2, France and England, who have made the semis. They haven't made the final. So we are guaranteed a never-before champion in the final. The last time we had that in the men's was, in 2018 in the Croatia, and then 2010 was Spain and the Netherlands. Then it wasn't from 1978 to 2010, there was nothing but repeat champions in the men's World Cup final. This is what's great. This proves the rest of the world's out. Germany is out. All these great teams are out. But we made the round of 16. One of only 2 former champions, Sweden hasn't won. 2 former champions to do so. Out of the 4 or 5 that have won.
5.
And we're not out.
4.
It happens.
4.
It happens. It's soccer. This is why it's called a beautiful game. This is literally why so many people love it. It's because the underdog technically I wouldn't call Sweden the underdog in this game.
No,
But
not at all.
the underdog can have a champion. No one was talking bad about Morocco when they lost in the semis against France or Croatia because they weren't expected to get there. It's a big accomplishment by any country to make it that far. Whether you are the 8-time, never missed a final, undefeated in the final, won every single World Cup, which hasn't happened for a reason, or it's your first time ever. It's hard to win. It's what makes soccer great. It's
Absolutely.
because anyone can win. The Lex game was proof of this. Blue City has had games like this. It's what makes this game great is because anyone has a chance. We saw that with the Republic run in the Open Cup. Like, it's what truly makes this game great is that anyone has a chance. There's no way to be pure dominant forever. It doesn't happen.
Nope. And sticking in solemn territory, and speaking of you can't be dominant forever, let's shift our gears to our final recap of the week here, John. Racing Louisville fell at KC Current 3-0 over the weekend. Their second straight loss. The loss dropped them from first place in the group to second place. Now they do still advance in the NWSL knockout stages, or semifinals, I should say, as the fourth seed, as they are the second or the top second place finisher. So they still advance onward. But Racing Louisville lost out on a great opportunity to not only get one home game, but I believe if they had won and all the other results had happened, they would have had home field advantage throughout the Challenge Cup playoffs.
It was if they had won, they were guaranteed at home field at least one game.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they had won and Portland had won, which Portland did not win. Or no, that's back in July. That's not where it won. Wrong league. Challenge Cup, not the NWSL. Portland tied. So I don't know what the scenario was if Portland tied per se. So, but they missed the chance to guarantee a home game, at least one home game to start the thing. Now we go to OL Reign on Rapinoe's retirement tour. And you could argue Rapinoe's last, like, hey, I'm still kind of good. Granted, she's 38. There was a reason she barely played in the World Cup anyways. But, hey, I'm still one of the best of all time type thing. So we'll see. We'll see. In this game, Racing, I felt, was just out of it from the start. That first goal just kind of just knocked them down. They didn't look in it. Not in the sense of like
card.
Not in the sense of the players like weren't playing. They just did not look in it. Like the Current were just clicking. They were. There's just some games where you're just out of it before it even happens, and that was this game. And their coach got sick and didn't travel, right?
Yeah, their head coach stayed back in Louisville dealing with some kind of illness, so they had a substitute coach or an assistant head coach, Beverly Yanzi. Sorry, Beverly.
She's their top assistant, which not saying she can't coach.
No, not saying that at all.
There's something about, and I've seen this, there's something about being the manager, as we like to call, and being a coach type thing.
Yeah.
And it's hard to just switch that. Like, all right, now you go from, hey, talk to this group, because as much as like there's top assistants or whatever type thing, each one has a group that they talk to. Like Nacho of Lex is like the forwards guy. Like he handles the forwards and stuff like that. They are top assistant.
Top tier name, by the way. Top tier.
I honestly thought that was a nickname forever. Like he played for Rangers.
No,
I'm a Celtic fan. And then like I straight asked him what if you're hearing that, it is pouring rain where I'm at.
Dang.
Like hard. But I asked him that. I was like, is your name really Nacho one time? He's like, yes. Straight up. I knew I could have Wikipedia it, but
I mean, if
Anyways,
he's there, you might as well ask him in person. But
there's a difference
speaking of
between managing and coaching
and
type thing.
yeah, like that's a different set of skills, right? Like you go from managing just one small team to managing the whole unit. So it can be a different challenge. I don't think Beverly did anything wrong to say that she doesn't have potential to still be a
They were
great
just
coach.
out of it.
Yeah,
Casey came
Casey
out.
was just on it that night. Put 3 on racing, and now they've got to pick up the pieces.
It just happens, and they don't play a Challenge Cup game now for like 2 months.
No,
or something
2
like that.
months.
It's like
I thought they played on the 19th.
I know their
No, it's a regular season game.
Their next game is against Angel City, but that's
on the 19th.
It's the NWSL like getting back.
Yeah.
So they
And
don't play.
when that game happens, all the World Cup girls will be back on the team. So it'll be a little bit of a retransition phase.
Chidiac's still in it.
I mean, for like 12 more hours, maybe?
No. Australia beat Denmark. They're in the quarterfinal. Chidiac's still in it. The rest of them are coming.
Yeah.
Granted, Chidiac's played like 20 combined minutes for some reason.
Right.
But there is still as much as Kanu, Themby, and Damelo were the only one, and Chidiac were the last 4 remaining, and the other 3 all lost. Granted, Nigeria played a good game too.
Yes, they did.
England for a majority of that game.
South Africa played really good as well.
South Africa played really good. They let in a goal late, and that kind of just kept them out of it. I feel if that goal didn't happen early, the outcome could have been a little different. It was really weird because these draws were like there was like 4 or 5 colonizers v colonies, which is weird. But
yeah, it was a weird geopolitical context within the beautiful game.
Yeah.
But so when those players get back, maybe Australia goes and wins it, so Chidiac wouldn't be available, but the rest of the team would be available. So in that matchup against Angel City, like that's going to be huge, right? Like that's the Fill the Fam game. That's the team that everybody wants to see in the NWSL. I mean, I'll use my wife for example. She's continuously ask about, how's Angel City doing? Can we go to the Angel City game? I'm like, no, wait, hold on. That would be the Racing Louisville game that would be going to, but we'll have to see. It'll just be a little bit of remixing the ingredients together just to see how the team can come back together.
Okay, the semifinal is September 6th.
Yeah, so they've got some time to get everything back together, but if they don't start hitting like they were earlier in the Challenge Cup, I think they're definitely in trouble. Ryan, they're gonna come to beat Louisville. They've got some good horses. They've got Rapinoe, who will come off the bench. They've got Rose Lavelle, who at that point you would assume would be fully back to healthy. I mean, she would have played in the round of 32. 16. Sorry, man.
I think if we have Lavelle, it's also a different story.
Yeah.
I'm fully expecting definitely Borges and Schwang to play on the 19th.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm fully expecting the other 3. We'll see how far Chidiac gets with Australia. But 5 of them for sure will be back for that Angel City game, which is like a perfect Fill the Fam type moment. Welcome them back, celebrate them. They should do something, in my opinion. Especially if Chidiac, they do get knocked out before that, and she does get home like before that. Maybe not dress her, but definitely do something. Honor all of them. Do a little pregame ceremony type thing. Racing's been really good about like posting and showing all this stuff on their social media of like, hey, they're playing this, they're doing this, all this type of stuff. Better than some teams, like men's teams, about talking about their players. And granted, like Bayern Munich had like 19 or 20, so it's kind of hard to keep track. But still, I've seen better coverage of like a team praising their athletes that are in the World Cup from a women's side than I've seen on the men's, who have probably a bigger social media department.
Yeah, but it's been great to follow all of the Racing Louisville stars that have been abroad at the World Cup, and I really want to see them come back, get back in the mix with the main team.
Best NWSL side, performance wise. They're no longer the leading goal scorers because that's been
I
taken over by.
know.
I think they're counting because the girl that got the hat trick with France, like right after that game, she transferred from PSG to Lyon's. I'm curious if they're counting her now as a Lyon player and those goals as a Lyon player. I personally would not. She has not played for Lyon yet. She is still a PSG player.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
If that is, they did racing dirty.
Yeah, that. But hey, who knows? Maybe Chidiac can get in there for Australia and
Chidiac hat
bang
trick
home
at
a
first.
couple. Calling it, John calling it.
I want them to play, but don't count out Australia either because Sam Kerr is finally back.
Yep, back and healthy.
They play the winner of France versus Morocco, not Monaco. Monaco in a World Cup would be insane.
Very different countries, Monaco and Morocco. There, John.
Shush.
But John, any final notes on Racing Louisville and where they might finish in the Challenge Cup here?
I still think they can win it.
Yeah.
Like they aren't showing me. It happens. That you had enough cushion where you're okay. I would love to see them win so they could host it, but it happens. Like I've said, it's what makes soccer beautiful. Anything can happen. Just why, as a fan, it hurts sometimes when your team sucks, but that's why I go in with every game to optimism. I'm a Lex fan.
Absolutely.
We are 10th in the table. We've lost
10th in the table, but climbing.
We've lost 9. We've lost 9 on the road. Yes, Saturday was awesome. Still keeps. We are now, though, because of that win, we are now technically positive in terms of game outcomes. Because I count a draw as semi-positive. You could count it. Arsenal can call themselves invincible with having draws. I can count draws as positive. So now, if you want to count 500, we are over 500, which I've always found weird to how they calculate winning percentage in that type of thing.
I don't even have the math skills capable of calculating that without a formula online or without AI telling me what the answer is. So, but with that, we will end this definitely not AI written episode of Bluegrass Soccer Cast. We appreciate everybody watching. Make sure that you like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell, do all of those things for all of our podcasting platforms that you're listening or watching this on. If you're on Spotify, make sure you give us a follow. If you're on YouTube, give us a subscribe and hit the bell. And if you're on iHeartRadio, make sure you follow us and etc. Also, make sure that you follow us on all our social media handles. All of those are at BG Soccercast. So we've got an Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, etc. We want to make sure that we also throw in a reminder that we do have a Discord server. So if you want to join our Discord server, head to our Instagram or Twitter, and you'll see the link to sign up for that as well. And we also have a great website. That is BGFC or BGSC.show. You head there. Hey, Freudian slip, man. BGSC.show. To keep track with all of our great articles. John does a great job of writing. I do okay. And we just really enjoy everyone giving those a read. But that will do it for today. That's John. I'm Jimmy, and we'll see you on the next one.